Hello. Okay, I can see this new Me 6 notification didn't actually show the right title of this stream. Let me see what it says here. Yeah, okay, single player, that's good. Hello, Pyro Racing Man. It should also post about Twitch, Willie, but don't like it. So let's see if I click here. Okay, so this one and this one, perfect. Okay, nice. Today's single player time. Yes, I have actually done something on single player, which I can start out by showing, and then we can take it from there. Because I think I will soon push it in this version, so you guys can test it out, and then meanwhile I will work on improving some stuff, because right now I have just copy pasted some UI things that I really want to have. It should be made in a smarter way, so because a lot of it will be the same for multiplayer and single player. So instead of me having to maintain two different things, I will just maintain the same components. But I'll look into that while you guys test the multiplayer things. So let's see. Okay. Only one viewer, two viewers, one viewer. Not a lot going on. So what about Twitch? I had to upgrade my Mi 6 to premium the other day, because I couldn't change the welcome message, which was totally weird. And by doing that, it was a one lifetime purchase thing, by doing that I upgraded to premium, meaning I can do a lot of more stuff with this Mi 6, and one of them is to make notifications when I post something on my YouTube channel or go live on Twitch. So I set that up, but I haven't been live since or posted anything, so I didn't know if it was working. But it looks like, you can take a look here. It looks like it's not really working for Twitch, because it shows correctly here. You know, this one, the title here is weird, but it do show it. And if I click here, we actually get to the live stream, so that's fine. Maybe it's the timing. It's just there's only 3, 2, 1 viewer maybe. Okay, here okay, so it took a while, but here goes. Okay, this one doesn't tag everybody. Okay. Yeah, okay. And this one took a while before that came here. Okay, so I need to upgrade this to tag everybody. And this is not actually everybody, as far as I understand. This everybody in here is everybody inside this streams channel. So if you don't want to see this streams channel, if you don't want to be notified about live streams and videos and stuff like that, you can go to the channel roles, and then you can just say, yes, I don't want to be notified about streams. If you do that, you get a role that will hide this from you, so you don't get all these notifications if it's too much. Okay, so it came here, but I have to upgrade. Let me just do that right away. I don't think there's anything secret in that, so let's just do it here. So there should be some notification things. So YouTube alerts. Okay, here. So hey everyone. And the reason I'm writing something happened is because I can't see a difference if it's live stream or a new video. So I'm just writing, you know, something. So that should happen next time. That should be more correct. Hello, German soldier. And Trucks Poo is here. Hello. It's funny, it was Keltosar saying, oh, no live streams today, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, he's not even joining himself. Lazy German. But anyway, he's missing this. It's on him. But to you guys, I can show you what the current status is. Oh, actually, I can do it in a better way, I think, because I have this. That was the wrong one. What? No, this one. Yes. Okay. So it looks more like a full screen thing. Okay. Let me just stop this here. So I am working on single player, and right now, as I said before, that none of you heard. Right now, I've copied a lot of the code from this and the components like a copy thing, so I have to maintain it 2 places. But that was only to get some UI going, so I could actually get to the part of because I know I can make the UI work somehow. UI is not what I'm best at, but I can make it work. I rather want to focus on the core mechanic in the code to make single player work, because the game has been totally rewritten to be multiplayer enabled, and that's not something you just take out and then say now it's multiplayer. So single player is really a multiplayer game that is just local hosted, that nobody can join. So, but you don't see that, and that's more the technical how it's hosted. Hopefully it shouldn't be not too much performance impact really, because it knows it's on its local hosting, and it's the host itself, so it doesn't try to send things over network and all that stuff. It doesn't create a lobby and all that stuff, so that's all good. One of the things that people have been asking a lot for in the single player that I have on purpose disabled or made slower is the spawn rate, because in a multiplayer game you can't have people spawn with auto clickers all over the place, and that's not how multiplayer over network works. So I put some limits in, or both on the client side or the host side. But in single player, I should be able to disable that. So I actually just did this before. Right now I do it based on some little odd data, but we will get into that because that's what I'm gonna fix afterwards. Anyway, so we have, single player here, and we go to town. We of course don't have, we don't have these over here because I don't have the host settings, and we don't have these 2 max allowed and all that because they will just be set to maximum, and you don't have to play around with that in single player. It doesn't make sense. So so you basically only have these settings, and also what I'm gonna add later is I'm also gonna list mods here in a simple list, so you can clearly see here what mods you are enabling in this game you're gonna start, which is actually a big deal because it's a lot of confusion to people. It's not specific to multiplayer, but it's something that needs to happen for both multiplayer and single player. Because right now it's not very intuitive that people have to go into the workshop collection and then make sure to have things enabled in here, and then it's automatically loaded into the game you start. It's not intuitive at all. So that will most likely be part of this over here also too. Anyway, let's try and start a single player game, because now I have removed that limitation. Delay in the spoiler. So the game actually looks the same. There is something with the FPS in the new version. I don't know. I haven't really changed anything, so maybe it's something with the new Unity version. There have afterwards been 2 new Unity version upgrades. So I think I will try and upgrade to that soon too, just to see if that fixes anything, because the FPS is kind of low here, much lower than it used to. I know I'm streaming now, camera, blah blah blah, all that, but Kel'Thuzar also had the problem, and yeah, it's to some people the FPS is somehow lower, which is weird. But that's a side thing. That has nothing to do with single player, really. It's the same in multiplayer. Anyway, so if I take this now here, Messenger for instance, and I don't know if you most likely cannot see or feel it, but I can feel that it's much more like the old version where you could just spam crazy. So that works again now in single player. But single player, as I said, is of course just a version of the multiplayer. It's a locally hosted multiplayer where nobody can join. So you still have, the characters. You can change the character and all the stuff, and you can teleport and all that thing you have for multiplayer. It's just only you. Right now we also have the server up here. I don't know if I will hide some of this over here. I'm expecting to over time be changed to some settings where you can, so instead of having to use the console to change how much people can spawn and all that stuff, it will be some UI over here in this side, and that can still actually be relevant, like turning explosion forces on and off, for instance. That could be relevant to be able to change that from inside the game, because in the old version that was part of the settings, but that is not part of the settings anymore, because the explosion forces and ignite forces and all that is actually not part of the client's version, but something that the host decides if it should be enabled or not. Anyway, people are writing, when people are able to change the setting of graphics separately from the host, since some people don't have much power, please. Sullivan, that you can change the graphics. The graphics is client side. So that's something like, the host can run in Ultra, and the clients can run in the very low setting, and turn things on and off. But of course I have to, some things, if it's only visual, it's something the client can decide for themselves exactly, how long, for instance, the render distance and stuff like that. But something like explosion forces, that's something that the host decides. So that's not something you can change as a client, that can be different from the host, because it changes how the game works, where the graphics settings is just how things are seen. The host can also run very low quality, and the client can run ultra. That will happen. Can happen too. Like to separate graphics settings where people can choose the graphics settings on their own. Yeah, but they can. So when you go to settings here, language, of course, only client side. Display, that's totally client side. Resolution, window mode, whatever frames, that's up to you. Audio, totally up to you. Nothing to do with the host. Controls, eventually there will be more of all these settings. But anyway, this is also totally client side. Graphics, totally client side. Camera shake, motion blur, quality, all stuff that is only available for you as a client. The host don't decide that. Where I was playing in Supers, I wasn't able to change the graphics settings. I'm not sure what you mean. So then, hello Kel'Thuzar, welcome. Better late than never. And hello Amnesty. And you can see my pedal being in effect here. That's streamer style 2.0. But anyway, just to recap for people that joined late, I'm in a single player game now, and what I have just worked on was to remove that delay from spawning, because people apparently like to spam spawn like crazy. So that is possible right now. I don't know if you can see it, but I can definitely feel that this is a lot faster. We can actually go out and then try and do a multiplayer game, so you can see the difference. Let's just do the same map, private game, boom. We go in here again and we just take this one. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm clicking a lot more than it's spawning. So you know that feeling. So yeah, so the single player is now back to how it used to be. So that's good. However, the way it's done is not super great, and I will show you now. You don't care most likely, but this is how game dev is. So right now, the thing is that this is actually it's done two places. It's done on the host, so there are some limitations. Yeah, on the host side, so you can't cheat in that way, you can say. But the thing is that when I'm creating a single player game, I am hard coding some values. I'm hard coding that the time between spawns is 0, so there's no delay, and the maximum allowed of fireworks and props is just the max of an integer, so that's 2 billion or something like that. But there's also a client-side thing, and the thing is, the way things work is that, yeah, the client or the tools cannot. Anyway, the tools have access to something called Shared Network Manager, where there is some shared settings. Because remember, when you're setting up a host, the configuration of that host, like explosion force, ignition force, and all that stuff, that goes into one big game host JSON file. That's the one you know from the host JSON file, for instance. That's kind of the settings of the entire game. What mods, what map, blah, 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 blah. But the client need a subset of that. The client, for instance, needs to know the join code, needs to know, I actually can't remember what is actually in here, but let me see. Yeah, it actually has some auto despawn thing, enable blow, and that is actually not necessarily anymore. So I need to upgrade this. But anyway, so there's a subset of this hosting thing that the client need, and right now it doesn't have anything that tells if it's a single player or multiplayer game. And this gets super confusing, because why are you thinking about that? If it's a single player game, you know it's a single player, but the tools and the player doesn't know if it's a single player game. It can't see the difference if this is a host that hosts a single player or if it's a host that hosts a game for clients. It gets totally confused now. Anyway, my point is that right now, the way I'm identifying if it's a single player game is to check if the join code is, if it's not empty or null, meaning that it is actually something, then I know this is actually a multiplayer game, and therefore I do this check on the client side to check if how quickly you can spawn. But this is not intuitive and very nice. So instead I will have to implement either because really there is only two options. So what you can do in code is that you can have a boolean that can be true and false. So I could have something called is single player or is multiplayer, depending on what I want. And then I know if it's one or the other, because there are only two options really, multiplayer or single player. The other way is to have an enum, which can have more values. But it's easier to read, because then I can see, okay, if it is single player, then do this. If it is multiplayer, then do this. And then I have an option to add more types if we get to that at some point. But it's also a little much to add an enum just for that. I think I'll just start with a boolean. Let me just check something. Let me just see something. I want to see something in this shared host thing here. So is this actually used for anything? Yeah, it's used for this. But this is not really used, is it? Of course it's used in all of these. But wait a second. Okay, this is a totally different thing. We forget about that. That's a totally different thing. But I could have something here called a boolean called is multiplayer. What I'm doing now is basically just trying to make it more obvious in the code what this actually do. Okay, so this is set in the shared manager, and this comes from here. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I don't know exactly if it will be like this, but let's try. So let's do like this. It's multiplayer, boom, and we do like this, boom. Is this stop, by the way? Yes. Oops. Oh. Okay, that was very confusing. So let's check. We have the multiplayer here. Multiplayer. Join code. Yes. Okay. Hello, Dodie. Hello, cat. Okay, so we have this one, and then we need to also check for this. Boom. It's multiplayer. Multiplayer. Boom. Okay. And then I need to set this somewhere, and that will be happening here. Hello, cat. Dewey 12. Thank you for the following. You can hear the music, right? You can hear the Tom Jones thingy. I could at least. Very loud. Okay, so to make it, I don't know. Let's do it like this. So is multiplayer. So and now it won't compile because now this is not set. So that's this is not. Maybe I should wrap it in this one really, because it is part of the host configuration. Wait a second. See, and this is what I mean, Kelusa. Maybe it's not too interesting what I'm doing right now, but who knows? Set up, not this one here. Connection type local. Yeah. You know what? Actually, we could do it in another way, so I don't have to, but that will also be a little... Okay, so... Here you can see I'm actually setting this shared host thing, which is a subset of the settings that the client also need. Yeah, single player will be released in December. Well, what I'm trying to do right now is to get the, because Multiplayer is not done at all. I don't know how much you know of the game but anyway, the last year and a half I've been working on adding multiplayer to the game that has already been released 3 years ago. And the current multiplayer beta that I'm working on right now is what will eventually evolve into the version that will be pushed to all of you in December. So that version will be the main version that everybody is playing from around December. So, and my focus and for the last 1.5 years has been on implementing multiplayer because that was kind of the big deal, but also a lot of other stuff related to multiplayer and also not related but kind of needed, blah 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 blah. That's been the focus. It's working now. It's not perfect and it's not done, but it's working okay. So right now I'm actually shifting for a brief period, switching to implement some of the things that is not working anymore in the game, like single player blueprints. Yeah, single player and blueprints basically. So I need that to work. So because when I have that working, then I actually have a game that is good enough for being released. So let's say I have that in like 2 weeks time. Then the game, or 3 weeks or whatever, then the game is actually ready to be released. Then it's just a matter of how much stuff can I add to the game before December. So like crouch animation, in-game voice, whatever we need, upgrading of the net code, upgrading of the master audio, a lot of all of these other things that just make things better, more stable, whatever, but you know, the core things are there. So yeah, and then after December I will just continuing adding features like I have been all the time. So what I don't complete to December will just come afterwards. So yeah, so therefore I'm working on single player right now because there is some differences. For instance, the delay, and that's actually the biggest one. Blueprints and the delay is some of the biggest thing in the single player, I think. Yeah, hope that answers the question. But yes, as Keltos is saying, you can switch to this beta now and try multiplayer, and the version you see me working on right now, I will push that out maybe today actually, so you guys can test it out while I improve some stuff, because some of this stuff I've done now is a little quick fixy just to see it work together, and then I can improve and simplify some things. But I can do that while you are testing some stuff, and I can fix bugs and whatever. So yeah, so I need this to work so that delay thing is gone, and then I could actually push it out to the beta branch so people can try it out. Have you ever been to any amusement parks? Yes, I have. Actually been in Disneyland Orlando. And then a lot in Denmark. Anyway, let's get back to this. So this shared game host config needs to tell the client if it's a multiplayer game or single player game. Because yeah, again, it needs to avoid that delay thing in the spawn tool if it's a single player game, if that makes sense. So maybe we don't need this, because let me see. We don't have to put this in here, because the host here, in the host config, the connection type, if it's different than local, the connection type I call local, that is kind of the single player thing. So basically, if the connection type is different than local, then yes, it is a multiplayer game. Else, it's a single player game. If it is local, then this will be false, and thereby it's a single player game. So we don't actually have to set it in, put it in as a parameter here. Now we just have it here, and my guess that is actually okay. This means now that we can go to the spawn tool, and then instead of have this hacky way of using the join code, we can say, no, we can't, because we need to, and actually me see here. So we have this join code. I actually don't like that so much. Okay. Because right now we have the join code as a single one here. We could. Why don't I just expose the shared? Ah, yeah. Okay. The reason I don't do that is because then you can by mistake you can set the value, and we don't want to have that. Oh, actually you can't, because no. Let's just keep it like this. Okay. So we do bool is multiplayer. Best naming thing, but we have to start somewhere. It's multiplayer, boom, like that. So now we have a property on this one that we cannot set, that we can only read. So now we can go to the spawn tool, and then we can say, okay, so if it is multiplayer, so if it is multiplayer, then so now it's much easier to read too, right? So if it is multiplayer, then we do this calculation thing. And if it's not time to spawn, we just return, else we just resend a spawn thing, and then the host logic picks up. So I think this might be it. The results should basically be the same, you know, the delay should be gone in single player, but now it's a little easier to read in the code. Again, something as players, you know, of course, don't think about and have to think about, but it's some of these things that actually take time. So it's possible to me to figure out how this works in 2 months' time or in a year or whatever. So let's see here. 10, boom. Okay, so let's try single player first. Boom. I really also want to have this one fixed. It's so annoying. Plastic Bricks Park. The Lego one. Yeah, I've been there too. I think I've been to Forup Sommerland too, but it's been many years, many years. We actually usually goes to Sommerland Sjælland, and Bongbongland has been a while, but hello, Santiago Reyes. Hello. I think the game will be a whole new level. Yeah, I think so too. It is kind of a lot have changed underneath, but also UI wise and yeah, how it works. Anyway, let's see here. So let's see. Fast spawn. Let's try and go out. And then actually, before I push this update, I would like to try and upgrade to the latest version, because I don't know if you heard that before, Kalsar, but there's been 2 versions of Unity since last time, so I will try and upgrade to that, and then let's see if that helps on that low FPS, because I can actually also see it here. I usually don't have this low FPS when I'm standing here, and it's just right now it's like below 60, and it's not because I'm recording or streaming, because also before I did that it was also low, so there's something whack. Okay, so now we have a multiplayer game, and now I cannot do it. You develop MANIA? Yes. I not just developed, but I'm developing. Yeah. Oh, cool. Temtic. Yeah, but now you found the dev. And he's apparently live streaming from time to time. Always as a surprise, never planned, because it's only when I have time. Okay, so this is this one seems to be working, so that's good. Let me just check this in, because I actually like that. So let me just go through what I've changed here. We can also do that together to see how it work. So we added this multiplayer setting on the shared game host, blah blah blah. Yes, and here we had that one and that logic to this. This could also have been changed to be a method call to say is multiplayer that then calculate this. Hello, Temtic, thank you for the following. Then we have the spawn tool, where we did this thing around the check for the delay. So if it's multiplayer, then we have the delay. If it's single player, we don't. And host view, what do we have changed here? I changed it. So yeah, so I hard code, because in a single player game, there should be no minimum time between spawns. There should be no maximum of allowed props and all that, because yeah, you're kind of single playing, so no problem. Okay. So let's try and put this one in, and then let's see, because then actually I wanna try and upgrade. So let's shut this down. Maybe we can do that afterwards, because there's also something else that has bugged me. Okay, so we are coming from 22.3.38, and then we're upgrading to 40. Boom. Let's see. Then we can talk while it's doing this, because that will take a while. Can you add comment flares where there is always this flares, but I would be cool to comment flares? Yeah, as Keltosar says, I don't want to add, commercial fireworks to the native game. The native fireworks in the game is something I made, and it's actually very old now and not very... I think it would be better if I did it today, or redid it maybe. But also keep in mind that the native fireworks is made with kind of a balance of, looking good, but also performing good. Because what I quickly learned when doing this game was that people really like to spawn or spam stuff. So, just a second. Why is it not upgrading? So therefore performance quickly became important. Okay, here we go. Oh, now it's going. So therefore the native fireworks is made more for chaos and performance. It also have a pretty aggressive way of igniting other stuff. So, so stuff can chain react quickly and go crazy, because that's funny usually. But then afterwards I added mod support, and for instance Amnesty, who made a lot of the realistic fireworks, which is in the game but not in the game, but as mods in the game, he don't like that logic of having it ignite each other that much. So he have, I don't know if he's completely disabled it, but he have at least turned it down a lot more than it is in the default fireworks. So yeah, but there is a lot of commercial fireworks via mods, and so there's a community around that, and Keltosar and Amnesty and a lot of others are talking with some, and you also Keltosar, you have approval to use to some of the labels, right, and stuff like that. Well, that's pretty cool. Do you have a Discord server? Yes, you can see Keltosar just put it. I think there's a link in the description on the live stream too. And Kendo says make more. More what? Yeah, but you can find a link to the Discord in the bottom. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see if it starts, because now we are actually working again here. Oh, and then it upgrades to, yeah, we have to be careful with that. That's one of the things I have to be careful. What? Did you see that? Did you see the flare thing? What? Why was that suddenly working? What? Okay. See, the FPS is better now, Kaldusar. A little, at least. But it is something with the graphics, because if I change it to medium, for instance, you can see it's a lot better. But on Ultra, it is, before it was like below 60, now it's a little above 60. I think it used to be higher, but anyway. But the funny thing is, I have actually lately been playing around with these, because I would like to have a lens flare like this on the flashlight for players, but it didn't work, and I was like, why is it not working? So maybe that was a bug in Unity, because it seems like it's weirdly working now. Interesting. Anyway, okay, so let's see. However, we have to downgrade, because one of the things that it's doing every time I upgrade Unity is that it upgrades to the latest version of the netcode for game objects. And the problem is that doesn't work right now, because there's a bug. So we can't use that. But I can do something like this, and then it usually works. Okay, let's just do like this again here. I also have to upgrade this one. Okay, it have upgraded. Okay, perfect. Check. Okay. Let's see. Make more of your own fireworks. Yes. Can it? But since I added mod support, I haven't spent that much time on making fireworks. It's not because I don't want to, but I think it adds more to the game, because now modders can do fireworks. It adds more to the game that I work on features instead of fireworks. But I'm not saying I'm never gonna add more native fireworks. I also want to structure it a bit more maybe, and make some kind of collection in-game things. But right now, spending time on that doesn't give that much extra new to the game as features are. And I only have 24 hours in a day as the rest of you. And I also have a full-time job. So I'm spending my time on things that I hope add more to the game. Quicker or faster, whatever. Anyway, so that's why I haven't added any native fireworks for a long time. I just created, you know, the shell and mortar system, but as you also know, I only created like 3 shells or something like that, and they are not very impressive, but it's just to have something natively, because it's really built to be made by modders right now, because I don't have the time. I could spend the time, but you know, me spending the next 4 months on adding 20, 40 new fireworks doesn't really add as much to the game as adding proximity chat and ragdoll thing and, you know, stuff like that. So that's why I haven't done it in a while. Okay, let's check this in. So we upgraded to, let's see, boom. Let me do some here. Oh yeah, before let me just do a little thing more. Let's see. I actually have one more thing I would like to, and that is multiplayer servers, vertical server list. This one. I want to disable that thing so the author name cannot be rich text. Where is that? Where is that? What? There used to be some rich text thing. Am I totally blind? Here it is. Rich text. Boom. Going with that. So now the author name cannot be colored or stuff like that for the listing here. And then we have the details. This is this one. This is another one. Do we have the author name over there? Server name, map name, count? No, we don't. Don't we have that? Let me check something. Oh yeah, I could make, but then he won't. Yeah, but people are used to him shooting up like a rocket. But yeah, you're right. Maybe I should change him. The problem is you don't have a shell that is mortar that is big enough to host him. Okay, so we don't have the author name over here, so that's fine. Boom. And then we have some chat things. Is the legacy? No, I can't remember. We have to go into this other one. Nope. So we have the chat scroll. Let me see, where do we have the chat logic? That's here. Here we have chat message. So, okay, the problem. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I can't fix it like that here. Okay, I have to figure out how to fix that. Yeah, okay, so I'm looking into fixing that color thing of the usernames just quickly. Now I just fixed it in the list of servers. But it's not that easy for me to fix as it is right now in the chat, because I'm using these to maybe I can let me just see, wait a second. So how am I let me see something here. No, let me let me see. Let's see how I set the colors, because don't we have I have followed your tutorial up to the point where you start building the firework, but I don't want to make a firework. I want to import an image and make that a mod to the game. Yeah, you can. But then you should just, a prop is actually the easiest thing to do, because it doesn't require any specific components or anything. You just create a prefab, like I described in the I think also I have an old tutorial on making a prop really. But yes, as Keldusar said, you just have to give it the make a prop definition and then drag that prefab into that in Unity. Yeah, but you can't just put an image in. You have to kind of, because it's something that you will have to, it have to have a rigid body and some colliders, because everything you spawn in the game kind of have physics, because else you can interact with it and place it where you need to place it. But yeah, you can have a plane, which is just a flat square, basically. Anyway, let me just check something here. Maybe I shouldn't be fiddling with this right now, but see, this is, but why this is really, oh, that's the message. Okay, yes, I shouldn't do it like this. Why am I doing it like that? See the sender text. Why am I not, let me see. So really the sender name should not support rich, because I don't think I ever used that. But oops, I don't think I used that, but I can change the color. So So the center text doesn't support rich text, yes, because I only use it with this. So I could really just do like this and then say color and then say center color. Then we don't have that problem. Boom, 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 boom. And then we do, yeah, then basically we just do like this. I think this should work. I don't know why it's complaining here, but it should work. Not the best way I've done this, but let's try something here. I don't know. I haven't upgraded the version number, so maybe if some of you can, I don't know how many. Okay, we're only 5 viewers, but if some of you could try and join this, I just want to see how it. I'm just gonna host a game, and I think it will work because I have the same version and I haven't upgraded the netcode version, so it should work. And then because I want to see the different chat messages, so let me just host something here, testing out new stuff. Yeah, so you can just find my games called testing out new stuff, exciting, blah blah blah. Let's see. So if some of you have time, please try and join this so I can see. Test. Okay. Yeah, okay. So it shows up. Yes. Okay. So at least it shows the it shows color, so that's good. And what if I can't do that? You can find it, or you can try and join this. Does anybody have time for that just quickly? Honda Roblox, it depends on what you want to do. But a pure image is a little weird thing to have in it. Then it would most likely be put in some kind of poster model frame or whatever. Okay. Yeah, but it's most likely because I upgraded and stuff like that. So yeah, that's most likely why it doesn't work. Because even though we have the same version, looking by numbers. Oh yeah, you can't. Of course, no, you can't. No, you can't. Because I have this new multiplayer thing, which is something that I try to share with the client, but your client doesn't support that, so it will crash for sure. But anyway, I can see it's coloring here, and now I got the red color and trying to join again. It's yeah, but you most likely can't. It will most likely crash. I just wanted to see if there was more messages. Is it still crashing again, Kazusa? I assume so. Yeah, it's crashing. It's okay. You can't join, of course. Okay, so let me just. I fixed this. Don't want to fix this. We don't want this. So fixed. That's okay. Okay, so now we fix this. Yes, close this one, and then we have to upgrade. 8.1. So now we have to upgrade the game. which we do in here, and then we say it should be 8.1, like that. Perfect. Like that. Done. And then I have to upgrade the... So it is kind of a test, but I'm actually thinking I will push this version out so people can test it out. It is a beta, so it's fair enough. Hello, Hardstyle. Yes, shot AP. I actually have thoughts about Mac, and it's actually not gonna happen. I'm sorry, but let me find this little video that I used to share. It's not because I don't want to, but it's simply because it's so hard to do, so time consuming, and the sales for that is like nothing. So let me share Pirate Software's take on this.
I dropped Mac support, and I won't be doing it again. For Windows, we actually do the game, and we just compile on Windows. Easy. For Linux, we build up a VM, and we compile for Linux. It's done. You want to know what you have to do on Mac? It's terrible. You have to first get Mac hardware. That hardware usually costs about $800 because it's a Mac Mini. Then you have to get a license key, and that key costs $100 per year. Then you have to compile the whole goddamn thing in Xcode. And if you've ever compiled anything in Xcode, it's dog shit, and I hate it. Then you can finally compile for Mac. And guess what? If it breaks, you have to do the whole goddamn thing over again. You don't have to pay for the key again, but you have to go reprovision the key and then put it back into Xcode and then do it again. All of this was 0.02% of our sales.
It's crazy, but it's so correct. It's so correct. I have never tried to build a game for Mac specifically, but I tried to make iPhone apps, and it's so freaking complicated. So sorry for Mac users, but the market is simply not there when you hold it against how freaking difficult it is. One thing is you have to buy a Mac, but we actually have a Mac, so I have that. I have the hardware for it. But the time you spend on building on a Mac, provisioning, signing, it's terrible. It's terrible. So sad. Yeah. If you want a game, you shouldn't buy a Mac. Sorry. But not to say that it's not possible to run the game, because I have had I never tried it myself, but you can run Windows on a Mac. So by doing that, you could, in theory, run the game. And I know people have run it also on Linux. And the game also runs on the Steam Deck, which runs Linux. But I'm not doing anything specific for that. It's something that Steam does, at least for the Steam Deck. So yeah. Yeah, I'm so sad. It's not... question comes from the other two. It's a freaking nightmare. Yeah, to compile something natively Xcode. Yes. Exactly. It's terrible. It's so terrible. And I think I don't know why they make it that hard, but yeah, that's just how it is. Yeah, Windows on Mac is not super great. Not super great. Yeah. So sadly, no support for OS X for Mac. It's simply not. It sounds terrible, but it's simply not worth it. It will take me so much time to satisfy, like, yeah, as he said, like 0.002 or whatever it was of the players, and it's simply not worth it, sadly. Exclusive stuff, yes. Yeah, so that's sad. But that's sadly how it is. Okay, let me quickly write up a changelog here. So we have something to put in a changelog. So let's put a version number, 0.1, this one, and it's the 3rd. So we do like this. Maybe we should really do like this too. That would actually look better. I don't know why I haven't done that before. I don't want to go too far back, but this looks better, doesn't it? You know, date-wise. Having 0803. Anyway, so added first draft of single player. Please test it out. I'm still working on some UI stuff, but you should be able to play single player now with no spawn delay. That's the thing that people are most annoyed about in the multiplayer. So let's see here, and what have we changed? Whoops, I've changed the author and author in server list and player name in chat to not be able to have BB codes. I don't know if that's the right term, but I don't know what it's actually called. Rich text. Basically, it's just so it can't be colored and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. If I want to have, and of course I want to have the game out to as many people as possible. So when I'm starting to look into the two other platforms to port it to, OS X is not part of that list. And actually, mobile was also very, very low on the list. Now it's even lower on the list because, and that's a little side thing, I have a Google Play console account because I have had a tiny game on the Google Play Store and an app, but they have, I think both of them are actually taken down because I haven't updated it in many years. So, and then by not doing anything, they remove it after some years. Anyway, I still have the account. So like half a year ago, I got an email that I have to do some compliant things, some DUN number, which I don't know what is, but some number that identifies my company or whatever. Something that you have to, it's not very easy to get, at least in Denmark. Anyway, so let's say I get that number somehow from the government some way. Then I also saw in the email I got today, because now I only have a month left to do it, else they close my account on Google Play Store, whatever it's called. As I read it, it sounds like they want to have a phone number for users in the store to call or something like that. As I read it, it sounds like I have to provide my phone number on the freaking Google Play Store so users can call for support or whatever. I'm one guy. Let's say I'm doing this Fireworks Mania, for instance, and do it some kind of free version, you know, with ads, because that's how Android users are apparently. Let's say 50,000, 100,000 people download it. Should I take calls from? I don't know how that. I guess maybe it's some EU rules. I don't know, but it just sounds so weird. I know it's fair enough, you know, that Google have my phone number or stuff like that, but to put in, and of course you can find my phone number somehow if you really wanted to, but you know, just putting it out there in the store, it sounds so weird. So yeah, I wasn't going to do a mobile version. And now I'm for sure not gonna do a mobile version. Yeah, shut up. But the thing is, I just got this mail. I need to verify my Play Console developer account. And what you need to provide to verify a DUNS number for your organization. Something I don't know, I can get it somehow. Yeah, at least last time I checked. Yes, exactly. But this is some new rules. It's something that they are enforcing now doing this year. I have for October the 2nd to do this. A phone number and email address for Google Play users to contact you. A phone number and email address for Google to contact you. That's 2 separate lines in the requirements. Google Play users. I guess that's, that's Keltusar with his Android phone or whatever. It's not Google personal. Fair enough, they have my phone number, can contact me or whatever. That's fine. But having to provide it to everybody looking in the store, I just find it super weird, to be honest. It might make sense if you're a big company, for instance. If you're a big company making games, you're like Rockstar, whatever. You have some kind of support division that people can call. Fine, put that number in, no problem. I'm one guy. I don't have a staff of 20 people to answer phones from people. It's so weird. It's so weird. I haven't looked into what it actually means, but from the way it's put here, it sounds very much like they're gonna put a phone number on all apps in the App Store. In the Google Play App Store. So, yeah. So, yes, I know, shut up, that it used to be like that. And I also had, I think, I of course had an email, people could contact and get help. And people used that. And I have replied and helped people over the years. But a phone number? Exactly. Google contacts make sense. Makes sense. User contact? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's some phone numbers that cost cents to make just to support. But yeah, but if there is a phone number and people try and call it and don't get help, it will just be bad user support. It's better not to have the phone number then. If I'm not gonna reply on these phone calls, the number shouldn't be there. Just to be compliant, because it doesn't work that way, It doesn't have any meaning. Exactly. It's just by DMing in and I'm a small, my game is it's popular, but it's not like, it's not blowing up like that. And it's enough people DM on Twitter and Discord and all that stuff. It's the internet, so it's full of whack people. If they also gonna call me, yeah, it's so weird, so weird. So yeah. Anyway, coming back to the changelog, which we're actually gonna work at here. Let's see. Boom. It was just a side note. So yeah. If anybody know what that actually means, let me know. Change the author. How should I put that? Change the player name. No, maybe change the author/player name in server list and chat to not be able to have BB codes. Yeah. Whoops. No. Yes. Okay. And then we also upgraded Unity to, what was it? 2.3.40. Maybe helped on vsync/PS issues. It's mainly for you, Keldusar. Yeah, that's it. The biggest one is really this one up here. So I think this is fine for now. So let's just do like this. Oops. Here. Boom, boom. And then I check this in. Just change log. Let's just do this. No, we can't. Yeah, let's do it like this. Boom. Okay, so so I think we have this for now. Let me do this build stuff and let's build. So now I set it up to build the game and dedicated servers for Gonako. Not sure he's updating it right now, but anyway. And then let me prepare, because very soon you guys will be able to play the single play version. I don't know if it lags a little for you, but it's because it's building the game. So I'll just prepare here on the other screen so I can post a little update. This one. So again, this is the first draft of single player, so don't get your highs up too high. I haven't read it, Kildusar, but what does it say in that list? Oh, hello, Enzo680. Thank you for the following. Hello, CT. Haidu. Let's keep it in English so people can understand it, but I understand what you said. You said hi. So let's put this in here. I'm just preparing a Steam upgrade here. Boom. Boom. Yes. Okay, perfect. Now we're just waiting for it to build. Let's see. Hello, Hamburg. And so. Let's, while it builds, let's take a look here at Kildusar's link that he just sent. Phone number. Initially selecting account type or something. However, sometimes in October. Okay, 21. Okay, I haven't updated for a long time, but now they're forcing me to do it. Owners of developer account who update the email address or password come in to provide information about the account. We strongly encourage developers if you have not provided information account. Yeah, I want to know something about phone number. We could also just maybe take a look at the Google Play Store. And then, I don't know, what do we have of big names? Let's say, can we search here? Fortnite. Is that still on? No, it's not. Okay, we can just try something. Just want to see if I can see information about. Doesn't show anything. It's just the wording of it sounds like they're gonna have phone number on the store, which is super weird. Magic away. I just clicked something. I don't know if that's what you reference to. Yeah, I think. Let me just check here. YouTube. Fireworks. Not a problem. What I have on Nah, I don't have a... But I will do a whole new set of videos when we get a little closer to the release of the multiplayer version, because yeah, the new mod tools is, first of all, I need to make some videos to upgrade from the old one to the new one, and some new getting started videos, because the new mod tools are actually much easier to set up and get started with actually, and it includes some templates to start from. So you basically just right click and then you have a rocket and then you can make it your own. So you don't have to, to do a lot of stuff. So now we're just basically waiting on it to build. So many things to do. So the next step for me is to, I can either I can look into making the UI in the main menu more better and reuse stuff, because right now it's kind of I copied some stuff, so when I need to maintain it I have to do things twice. That's not good. And update that, and after that I can look into getting blueprints to work in the single player mode. Multiplayer will be a different story, but single player wise it have to work somehow close to how it works today. This is pretty random that I found you. I didn't know you stream, but I recognize your profile. I had a lot of fun with your game. Okay, cool. It's Sulfur. So you have my game already? That's cool. I'm currently I'm actually pushing out a new version as we are talking here. Because I'm working on multiplayer and have been adding that, and are now working on adding single player into the multiplayer to make things really confusing. Oh, cool. Very cool. I think I'm sure you haven't been on my stream before. I think your name looks familiar somehow. But yeah, so for did my stream just show up on your as a recommendation or what? Or did you see it in the Discord or? Why can't I close this? Come on. Okay, now my computer is Visual Studio is acting up. Perfect. Okay, now good. I was looking through software and development section and so okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know how many random people steps by, but you know, at the more viewers we have, the more further up on the list we get. But I don't know if Twitch changed the way they suggest and stuff, so yeah, I don't know. Right now it looks like there was one viewer on Twitch, so I'm huge on Twitch. Anyway, so let me just build, and the reason you're watching my face here is because I'm doing some stuff now that yeah, it's not that interesting, but also it's not secret, but I'm not sure how much of this I'm actually allowed to show. Boom. Okay, so putting up a new version of that. What? Okay. Okay, that's annoying. So let's see here. So like that. Pushing a new version, blah blah blah. Good. So let's go here. And in a moment when I say the version is ready, you have to restart your Steam because also it will take a while before it gets to you. So just a second here. So we're gonna put it here. I will push the same to both the private and the public beta and to the experimental branch because that's all the risk-taking people. Okay, so it's put it there, and then we have to say this. Perfect. Boom. Like that. Boom. Okay, like that. And then publish. Okay. So the version I'm pushing right now is the first draft of single player mode in the new multiplayer beta. Long story short, working on multiplayer for the past year and a half, and now it's coming to a working state. Still a lot of problems, but it's kind of working. So now I'm just taking some of the missing features, which is single player at first, that is missing in that version. And this is the first draft I'm pushing of that now. So you can see it here, but I'm gonna post it in Discord too. So if you close your Steam now, of course you have to switch to the beta version or the beta branch in Steam. And when you've done that, you can shut down Steam, close Steam completely, and then start up again, and then it will pick up this change. So let me push this experimental. Hey, oops, public testers. So push down there. So if you close down Steam and start it up again, you should get a update. And of course, multiplayer should also work in this version. So, see, I get the update here. Let's see. Yeah, so really, Sulfur in this version is not actually that interesting if you want to play multiplayer. But a lot of people want to have the option to play single player too, of course, makes sense. So that's why I'm adding this. Multiplayer is a P2P, right? Yeah, through Unity Relay, yes. So they're not directly connecting to each other, they're connecting via Unity Relay. And there is also a closed beta version of a dedicated server, but it's very buggy and doesn't have my attention that much. But dedicated server will eventually also be a thing, but that will be after this version has been pushed out to everybody. To import it as a mod to firework MANIA. Yeah, that basically go 3D Hunter. Then you basically just you can find my video where I'm exporting from Blender to Unity, but really it's a general thing, really. It's not something specific. When you get it into Unity and make a prefab out of it and you can see it in Unity, then you can also get it into the game. So it's not specifically to the game, really. Try and test out here maybe. Now you can try and join my server, Kel'Thuzar, if you have time. You should be able to see it in list, it's public. And let's see if we have a flare on this one over here. That was super weird. Let me just... So that lens flare... So it's only showing up when you are, because this is kind of the look I was kind of hoping for, but why does it go away? And then that is really odd. You see it, right? It's, and then it's kind of disappearing. No, now it's not. Ah, okay, maybe it's something to do. Ah, okay. So when I'm looking straight at it, I don't see it, but when it's outside of my... Ah, okay. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, Elena, yeah, just pushed a new update, but it's basically it's mainly a single player update. Oh, maybe I should just test something here. Let me see. I'm interested to hear if you have a better FPS, Kel'Thuzar, now, the new version. So if people have time, you can join my server here and we can see if things are working. Ah, maybe I should. Okay, maybe. Okay. Shut AP is joining. So let's see. Test here. Okay, that works. It works. Yeah, I just basically wanted to test the colors of the player names in the chat here because I changed something on that, but it seems to be working. So that's cool. And maybe try on your flashlight. Just want to see if there is a... okay, so... okay. Yeah, but I don't think I actually ended up putting that, but maybe it's working now, so I could have that. I would like to have a kind of little cookie, or not the lens flare for the flashlight. But it's also a little weird because the flashlight is coming out of, out of the head. And you can see I've added if you look at his side here, I have to change that too. But you can see now, there is a beam going out now, you can actually see. But it's a little weird that it's affected by my light. I should change that. But anyway. And we shouldn't be able to spam spawn, no. So like you can't. There is a delay is what I mean. Yeah. Okay. It's going at the same time, doesn't seem like. No, there shouldn't be. It should be okay. But of course, we can make it like. Though, by the way, do you guys see the lens? How's it called? Lens flare? No, that's not how it's called. Lens flare. I have it on ultra, and you have this lens. Oh, okay. No lens flare now. Okay. Let's do. What about the Kel'Thuzar? What about the FPS? Is that better or? Okay, I can't see anything here. Not that much. By the way, somebody asked about the in-game fireworks. This is the in-game fireworks. Okay, cool. Okay, FPS is a little better. That's cool. Should we try and stop the music? Okay, but it seems to be working. Multiplayer seems to be working still, so that's good. Somebody's trying to spawn something that we don't have. Okay. Do you think would be targeting to make a long range de-association? Shut you. I'm just asking you because then I want to explain it here. Okay, cool. Then I'm gonna explain it here. There is actually something, and we can try. I can actually show it here. If you are the one down here. I know there's a little delay, but live stream. But I think it's you down here. One thing, yeah, okay. One thing is that if you run towards me, you will see that. So one place I'm using LODs is for the animation. So if you run towards me now, you will see that when you are far away, the animation goes down in frames, you could say. I don't know how visible it is here, but if you get far away, okay, you need to be a little further away. Let me see here. Let's see here. You can see here when he's running here, it's kind of lagging a bit. And then when he gets closer, it's become more fluent. That's one way of animation LDs I'm using. I'm also using occlusion calling. So when you are behind stuff, it's not rendering stuff behind that because you can't see it. But I'm actually not using that much LOD stuff because the majority, because I'm having I did some tests at some point, and it might have changed since, but I did some tests, and it was actually, if I put LODs on all the trees and all the houses and all the stuff, it was actually performing worse than without, because this game is very low poly, and it's using very few, in the native game, it's using very few materials. So it's actually rendered fairly optimized rendering wise. What is heavy on this game is the effects of the particle systems, and I haven't found any way to do LODs on effects on particle systems. The textures you're using, just a second. Okay, I'm back again. So, so LODs for the particle systems is something I really wanted to have, but I haven't found any solution to do that. So the particles is the heavy one, and the physics in the game. And the physics, you can't LOD that kind of. I don't know what Unity does internally, but the physics is the physics. So therefore I'm not using that much LOD. There is some stuff. I think actually there is on the tube. I think the septic guy in the sky might have some LOD thing. Let me see here. But the thing is, you have to be so far away that you can't see it. So that's the whole point. But I think if you get very far away from that guy, maybe he becomes a simpler version. Nah. I played around with it at some point at least, but okay, maybe not. So that's the reason I'm not I'm not using LODs that much in the game because the rendering of the pure game that I could do LODs on is not actually that big of a deal. But yeah, there are some mods that use LODs and to simply hide stuff when you're far away. I think I might do that in some of the things too. I can't remember. You can put a view distance setting and probably a game resolution. Remaining being blurry, completely viewable. Blurry sounds expensive. Yeah, okay, but view distance is something else. That is also a setting I will eventually enable in the game. It's just the view distance of the camera, but that doesn't blur anything out. It just, yeah, pixelated. I actually also have. Okay, let me do something else. So the view distance is a camera setting, so it says how far you are viewing. Just a second again. Okay, back again. Okay, what were you saying? Yeah, so the render distance is simply how long it renders, and that can optimize the game a lot actually if you make that shorter. So that will be a setting in the game too. However, it looks pretty bad. Okay, now we have the music here. By the way, let me just try and set this on very low, because then the distance. The reason you didn't see it that much before was because I was on ultra, I think. I can't, because as soon as you zoom in. Okay, anyway. So the quality settings have an impact on when it starts doing this LOD stuff. Anyway. Yeah, so render distance will be a setting which have a heavy impact on how quickly it's rendering. But it also looks weird because you can't see, that far. Another thing I have played around with that I haven't actually put in the game is a system I bought called it's called something like imposter thing. And the way that works is that it takes a 3D model and then generates flat images of that all the way around. And then when things are far away, it shows that flat image instead of rendering the entire building or tree or whatever it can be. I played around with that, and it kind of works. It also looked a little weird in the distance, but it was kind of okay. But yeah, I don't know if I will eventually end up having that, because there are some problems with that too, because yeah, I have things that can be destroyed, and yeah, there's a lot of could be issues with that. So it's just to say, I have done a lot of things, and I am doing a lot of things to try and optimize it. Latest, I've tried to upgrade to URP, Universal Render Pipeline, on Unity 6, just to test it out. Of course, upgrading to UAP, I can easily make the core game work fairly easy by upgrading all the materials. Mods is a different story, because it screws up a lot of stuff. But I only did it to test out two of these new features that are in UAP, where you actually don't need occlusion calling and all that stuff, because it's somehow done on the graphics card, and that actually works pretty good. That actually gave a lot of FPS in the pure, just rendering the game. The effects was clearly not affected that much by it. But yeah, but I only tested it out briefly. Okay, what I was referring to was the 3D resolution. The 3D resolution So you mean like the resolution in the settings in here? Like the display thing? This one? You can also lower that, yes. You mean maybe run a lower... I don't know if I can do this in... Let's try something. So if we go... I don't know if this will work when I'm streaming. Maybe if the stream goes down, then you know why. So now I go full screen and then I take it down to, let's say, this one. And VSync. Let's see what happens now. So maybe I should then change to this one. So maybe this is what you mean. Let me just remove this. Okay, now I can't even almost see what it says. So you can also do something like this. And that will of course increase your FPS because you're rendering at a lower resolution, but then you can't see. But I was also picking a very bad one here. Let me try maybe this one. The aspect ratio have to be kind of the same for it to work. Let's try this one. Okay. Okay, let me just go with this one. So now it's like 1080. It's not that blurry, but it's a little more blurry. So you can do that, but you can do that already. Check screen grab. That's actually better for That's actually better for performance in a nutshell, but there's still some complications. No, that's the game resolution. In a nutshell, it's just pixel count. But is it a specific Unity? Can you do 3D resolution? I'm not sure what you mean. Is it what I'm doing here? Because now the game is running in 1080, which is a lower resolution than my monitor, and therefore, to me at least, it looks pixelated. I don't know how it shows up on the stream, to be honest. But I guess it will show up blurry too, because the stream is 1440. But let me go back to this one and borderless. And then let me go back to this. Now it's a little better. No, it's not better because it didn't change. Now it's better. Now it's crisp again. Or maybe it's maybe I think yeah. Yeah. I don't know if that's possible in this native, and I don't know if it's this DSLL or whatever it's called, where it kind of downscale and then upscale. But basically what you're saying is that you are rendering, I think actually Lethal Company is doing this. So, but I don't know how and if I can do it. Oh, I need to fix it in the player name too, I can see. That color thing. Let me just do this and then put it in here. Where he's kind of rendering the game in like 720 or something like that, and then showing it in full resolution, and that gives this pixelated thing. So maybe that's what you mean, 3D resolution. Unity 3D resolution. I think I know what you mean. It is basically, so it is something like actually rendering the game, core game in like a low resolution and then displaying it in the resolution the user picked. So like they picked like 1440 as I have, but really the game is rendered in a lower resolution. But I don't know if Unity have that. Because that could be a great option for more performance for people with lower end graphics. Let's see, there is a video here, let me see. Yeah, but maybe... Yeah, I don't know if maybe you could do it like rendering to a render texture or displaying that or something like that. You could maybe do something. FSR3 for Unity. Upscaling, yes, okay. Could be some interesting things. Let's see here.
And I am the developer of all the upscaler for Unity assets like FSR 3.1, DLSS, XS and SDSR Mobile.
I
so
think
why
actually
would you want to use an upscaler in your project?
I actually think that I have the DSLL thing as it's not a native supported thing in the rendering in the default legacy rendering here that I have that I'm using, but there is, you can buy something that puts it on top of that. And I think it was on sale at some point where I got it. I think I have that. And not this one, but the other one.
There are only two reasons basically: performance and visual quality. All my upscalers offer comparable performance improvements by lowering the rendering resolution down to 3 times the native resolution and then make that look good again and upscale it back to the native resolution. This will massively decrease the GPU render time and thus improve the GPU performance. One of the bonus side effects of temporal upscalers like FSR3, DLSS and XS is that part of their upscaling magic is adding temporal anti-aliasing, TAA in short. TAA is one of the industry's leading form of anti-aliasing. And since FSR3, DLSS and XS are made by the great graphic card manufacturers, AMD, Nvidia and Intel, their added TAA are one of the best solutions for anti-aliasing out there, and much better than Unity's default one. This will make your project look a lot better. A pretty awesome bonus if you ask me. Now, which upscaler to use? Each upscaler has its pros and its cons. DLSS can only be used on Windows 46-bit and only with an Nvidia RTX graphics card. So while it's probably the best upscaler in terms of visual quality, it is very limited that way. Now, XS offers the same kind of visual quality as DLSS, but a little bit slower. However, it works on all graphic card brands. On Windows only. FSR3 is probably the most versatile. It works on almost all platforms and on all graphic card brands. But its upscaling result is of a bit lower quality than the other upscalers. Then lastly, SGSR Mobile. This upscaler is specifically designed for mobile devices, as FSR is often too heavy to run on mobile GPUs. While it's a lot faster, it also offers the least visual quality of my upscaling assets. In my own project, I use all 4 upscaling assets and have them fall back automatically. So for example, when a player doesn't have an NVIDIA RTX graphics card, I automatically fall back to XES. Or when I'm on a PlayStation 5, for example, I automatically fall back to FSR 3. This way I make sure my players get the best upscaling results possible. I offer real-time support on my Discord server for anyone that is having issues with any of my assets, so don't hesitate to contact me if you are running into a problem. And if you like these assets, please consider leaving a review on the Unity Asset Store. Well, good luck with your project.
Yeah, could be interesting, but I actually think I have one of them. But that's also, as you said, there some of it only works on NVIDIA, and I wanna have things to work on for as many people as possible. So yeah. So let's see. But it is something that I could look into. But the thing is, I could look into thousands of things. And I have to pick one at a time. Anyway, I'm gonna shut this down now. Testing and play quickly. Let's see here. Boom. Let's go here. And let's try this. Let's see. Much quicker. Perfect. Oops. But it is something I could play around with at some point. But I have a list of thousands of things to look into, so it won't be right now. And it's not, I think I actually tried it quickly, and then you have to have some, because it's not working for everybody, you have to have some fallback, and then just adds more stuff I have to test all the time, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, an unban feature. Yeah, I have to make some UI where you can see a list of banned players so you can unban them, for sure. Yeah, right now you have to do it manually. You can you can do like this. So if you go to the console here and you hit the log folder, then in here you have there is a file here called something like banned users or banned players or something like that. If you open that one, you just need to remove that section for that player you want to unban. And then you save it and restart the game, and then it works again. Or if you only have, you can also delete the entire file, but then everybody have access again. Let's try something. What if we do like this? And then I'm out in a moment. Because it's becoming very, very hot in here. Because I can't have the window open that much. Let's see. Okay, but I think that's it. Now I will let you guys test out the multiplayer or the single player and see if it works as expected. And then I'm gonna shut down. Okay, 2 hour stream. I was actually thinking of doing 40 minutes or something like that. But anyway, now we have the single player version out. People can try it out and give feedback. And then meanwhile, in the background, I can work on improving the UI, mostly internally, so I can do stuff better. So yeah, unless you have some questions, that's it for today. Give you 1 minute to ask a question and then I'm shutting down. It will be just user server, or you will make a dedicated server package. It will be some kind of package thing. It is right now. You download the dedicated. It's not a part of the game. It's a separate build that you download, and I will find it right now. They have to download it manually, but I hope to be able to do something where it's automatically updated and downloaded via the Steam thing, just like Rust is doing and stuff like that. So it is a separate application, you could say, separate build at least, which is much smaller in size and all that. And then you run it, and it's supposed to be something that everybody can get. But right now it's closed, and the reason it's not that it's a secret as such. It's just like it's not working very well, and it's not documented, and a lot of things will change. So I don't have time to explain that to 100 people. So right now it's only Keltosa and Berto, I think, that have it. But and I don't think I will have time to look into it for real, like until after release at some point. So it will be sometime next year. But there's a lot of moving parts in all of this, because as I also mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this one, but we're also waiting on Unity to provide something in the netcode package so modders can do some stuff, which ties into building mods specific to dedicated server or specific to the host, where you have some more kind of logic if you want to do some more kind of a gameplay thing. But right now all that is not possible due to lack of some features in netcode. And I have been in dialogue with Unity for over a year, I think, now about that. But soon they are looking into it, hopefully. Blade, love the game. Thank you. Happy to hear that. Yeah, Gonako is the only one really hosting a game like that on the dedicated. But it's not very... It is kind of optimized, but it's very buggy, and most of it is my fault because I need to do some stuff differently. But I also think it's some Unity things, some of it at least. And there are some Linux issue that is not even Unity related. Yeah. But right now I'm building a Windows and a Linux version of the dedicated, and that's the plan to do that. Yeah, but it will be in the future. It will be sometimes next year. My server is feeling left alone to be used again. Yeah. But it will be possible. But it's also another thing is also how is this game gonna, because really my original idea was not actually to do a dedicated server at all, because my initial take was you would play with friends basically. You would start a host, run it P2P, and that's it, and you close it down and then you're out. But then very soon as multiplayer start coming, people asking for dedicated servers. I don't know if they knew what they were asking for, they just want it because all other games have it. But in terms of Fireworks Mania, as the game is now, which is a very destructive game, it could be at least, having a server running for a long period of time doesn't really make sense. So either people are gonna make something that restarts the server sometimes, or we have to, and that's what I really think would be most fun, is that the dedicated server will end up being some kind of more gameplay server where there is kind of a game loop where you have to earn stuff to buy fireworks, to build up your stash, and then somehow fight the other people, you know, but in a fireworks way. I really don't want to have, guns and stuff like that, because it's the easiest one to do, but it's not really in the nature of the game. But I want to end up having something that is still fun to kind of battle each other. You could still maybe shoot each other with fireworks or do something. But I think eventually that will be what will be the dedicated server's purpose, really. Or if you want to host, and that ties into some other features where I think it will also be beneficial to have some kind of setting where you could, as the host or the dedicated server owner, can specify who can spawn stuff. So you could have, because if people are not spawning, the game can actually already handle fairly many people. If they're just running around and watching, already you can be a lot of people. The problem starts when people can spawn stuff. So if we can limit that somehow, either by people having to save up in-game currency thing to buy stuff, meaning they can't spawn that often, or the game could be set up to some kind of, for a New Year's stream or a New Year's event, that maybe 100 people could join a dedicated server, and then only 2 of them could spawn stuff, and the other one was just there clapping or doing emotes or whatever, something like that. But it's not gonna happen this year. But future wise, something like that could be interesting. But it's not like I have a detailed plan of what I'm gonna do. I'm adding features as I see need and what I hear from the community. And it's getting crashed most of the time. Yeah, exactly. But that's also because we have, that you can spawn so much, which we have tried to limit with the spawn limitations, but still that limits people from doing some stuff that is actually okay, but opening up more adds the option for trolls to destroy servers. And it's the internet, so of course there's trolls all over the place. Thing about having a dedicated space to people is that it leads people meeting new cultures, new people. Yeah, but that's also, and then very quickly, because people are saying, I don't have any friends that play this game, but I want to play with others. That's why I ended up making that server list. So you can still just start the game on your PC, create a public host, and then people can find it in the list and join. And that way you are playing together with other people, without dedicated server. So, but yeah. And that has actually turned out pretty good, that people play together. But again, it also opens up for the trolls. So, yeah, it's the internet. Plots. Yeah, plots, like you mean you own a little area? Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean by modders. I would like modders to be able to do also stuff like that. So imagine you have a dedicated server where you have like 8 houses that you can then buy a house in game, and then you build up your stash in there, and then we have to find some kind of funny way to earn money in game. So you can buy a stash and do some kind of work to get some more money, and you can buy a house and maybe a car, whatever. Something like that, just a game loop like that, I think could be funny. But again, all tied around fireworks, which is kind of limiting, but that's also the challenge of it. Because if it just ends up as being a run around and shoot each other game, it's like all other games, There are many much better games you can play if you want to do that. So I want to find some kind of unique thing. But let's see. I basically want to find something that people think are funny to do. Yeah, exactly. People have different definitions. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know. I have seen that already. But as you can see in the single player, the join code is not there. I just haven't added the logic to say, okay, if there isn't a join code, then we just, you know, skip that. So we don't show it. But there are many things like that. Yeah, I know. That's why it's a first draft of single player. And there's many stuff like that. You could also argue as I said before, you know, the list of players, should that be there? But yeah, I could also hide that. But anyway, that's it. I'm melting in here, so I have to open the window and get a little air. So yeah, thank you for stopping by, and see you in the next stream.